Well, it would seem as though y'all enjoy a nice little tier list video, as apparent by the Persona 3 Reload tier list video I made, which is on its way to be my most viewed video ever, so let's do it again. As I've said many times at this point, Persona 4 is my favorite Persona game, and after doing I don't even know how many playthroughs of it at this point, I feel pretty comfortable putting my take on the table about the strength of every party member, so that's what we're going to do today. I'm gonna quit yapping your ear off here in a second, but before we get into the list itself, I want to set the criteria for how I'll be ranking everyone. Just like the Reload video, I'm going to be going off 4 major things: resource management, damage, support, and synergy between the rest of the party. I'll be giving a score out of 5 for each of them, and whichever party members have the highest overall score out of 20 is where they'll be placed in the tier list. All characters are also being judged at their max level with all of the best skills and items just to save me a headache. But even if I were doing it across the entire game, honestly, it wouldn't change at all. Alright, got all that? Then let's get started. Starting with what I consider to be the worst party member in the game is none other than certified partner boy Yosuke Hanamura, and it breaks my heart to see him this low. As much as I love him and his character, his skill set is just unremarkable. His damage is pretty lackluster, his 3rd tier persona skill is just ass honestly, his support overall is mid, so honestly I just wonder to myself, what is the purpose of using him, seriously? He doesn't have very good healing or support, so he's outclassed there, and he does okay damage but is also outclassed there as well, so what else is there? Maybe his evasion? Oh wait, Chie has better evasion, so he doesn't even have that. I mean, really, there isn't even that much to talk about with him. He's just unbelievably mid. He's just kind of there, man. I don't know. Do give him some credit, because I really don't think there's a particularly bad party member in the game. He's got a well-rounded kit with Brave Blade and Garodyne skills, with Garo Boost and Amp, and he's got good stats to make things work. So really, he's not bad at all. He's just overshadowed by the other party members that come after him. In the support department, he has Dekaja to remove buffs off the enemies if need be, but personally I never found myself needing this much at all just because of how the enemies are. He can learn Megiddo if you do his bike riding events, but that's definitely not worth taking over any of his other major skills, so it's not giving him much more value, especially since Naoto gets almighty attacks as well, but we'll get to her in a bit. Overall, Yosuke is not a bad character at all, and sets a good precedent for how strong the cast of characters are overall. So even though I shat on him a lot, you can easily make him work, especially if you enjoy using magic-based builds rather than physical ones. Now, I know for a fact this next position is probably going to get me a lot of flack. I can already hear it coming, and I'm ready. Come on, bring it on. Next, at what is technically the 2nd worst character in the game, is the Detective Prince Naoto.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Get your ass out of here!
Before you try and tear my head off, just hear me out for a second, alright? She's a fantastic party member with a ton of coverage. I mean, she can get Garodyne, Agidyne, Bufudyne, and Zeodyne, but she doesn't excel at those things. She excels in Mudo and Hama skills. These Mudo and Hama skills do make clearing out normal enemies a cakewalk, but what happens when you face a boss, which is not going to be able to be insta-killed? She kind of falls off the face of the planet. Her damage with those dying skills are pretty bad honestly, because she doesn't have a boost or amp skill to make it better. So genuinely every single other character in the game, even Yosuke, is better for bosses generally. The reason she is above Yosuke despite this is because she has Mind Charge, Heat Riser, and Megiddola on, so she can hold her own against bosses and normal enemies, and it does pretty decent damage. The reason she is below the other characters above her despite having some of the most goated skills ever is because her 3rd tier persona skill is kinda whatever, her resource management can quickly become an issue, and her support is lackluster. Her 3rd tier persona skill is Shield of Justice, which nullifies 1 attack for each party member on the team. But just like I said for Ken in Reload, this is not the kind of game where you need a skill like this, and this is even more so for Naoto. For 99% of the content of the game, you do not need to use it. And since that's her best support skill, it's just like, I mean, it's alright, but I mean, that's it, it's just alright. Heat Riser is a good skill, but it's not good for buffing an entire party. You'll only really use it on herself or the protagonist, so I can't give her too much credit there. Overall, Naoto, while incredibly good for the majority of the game, is basically the jack of all trades, master of none, which means you can use her however and whenever you wish, but in my opinion, I can't put her higher on the tier list. She's still a goated character though, and I love her to death. The next character on the list is in a similar spot as Yosuke, where they aren't particularly bad, but just overshadowed as well, and that is the motherfucking bear known as Tedward. Teddy is actually pretty good, much better than I gave him credit for on my first playthrough of Golden. He's basically got all the support skills you could ask for in Media Rahan, Samari Karm, and Amrita. He's got Ice Amp and Boost to keep the damage up, and he's got Muraku Kaja, making his support lineup almost as good as it gets. Something I cannot give him credit for though is Kamui Miracle, because I can't lie y'all, RNG based skills are something I can definitely do without. Having a chance of either being a detriment to your party or helping the enemies is just trash, dude. Like sure, I could down all of the enemies, that would be awesome, but why would I even risk that when it could down all of our team instead? Even in Fest with the Oracle skill, I thought the same thing. So yeah, this is just trash, dude, period.
Well, it is the finest, most delicate
skill.
Well, I'm fine without it.
Some will argue it's meant to be used as a last resort kind of skill. And to that, I say don't put yourself in that situation in the first place by having a skill that could actually help you instead. Like Muraku Kaja or just anything else he has. I'd even take Marakunda over that any day of the week. And I personally didn't even have that on my final Teddy build. Other than that absolute trash skill, in general, Teddy is amazing. I really don't have any complaints about him. He's a great support, just not the best, which is why he's a bit lower on the list than I otherwise would have put him. And also, the other characters above him start getting like Omega broken, so you know. Speaking of broken, Kanji is where things start getting broken. Like real broken. Kanji's damage output is absolutely fucking insane. He might be pretty weak in the magic department, but his physical skills hit so damn hard that it doesn't even matter. He also has a fairly solid third tier persona skill. He has Mataru Kaja, Power Charge, and by far has the highest amount of HP in the game. The one and only weakness he has is that most of his skills are single target, but since most bosses are single hit and he murders most things he touches, he can work around it. His skill called the Man's Way has a chance to down and dizzy every enemy on the battlefield, though if you really wanted to, you could spam it and you'd more than likely down the majority of the enemies, which can lead to an all-out attack. If he manages to dizzy even one of the enemies, then that'll prevent them from performing an action for a turn. But for that and him having Mataru Kaja, his support is actually pretty good, and his RNG doesn't actively harm the party either. F you, Teddy. Kanji could easily be higher up on this list by one spot, but regardless of whether he's in 4th, 3rd, whatever, he's broken. Period. It's honestly funny because I've had more to say about other characters lower on the list because their kit is a little more intricate, but nah, Kanji just hits like a tank, and I think that fits him perfectly as a character. I would not have it any other way. The Kung Fu Meat Marauder Chie, who is next up, is very similar to Kanji in terms of why she's so good, but there are a couple of key things that push me to put her above him. That being the fact that she has a good AoE physical skill and one of the best 3rd tier persona skills in the game. In a nutshell, Kanji probably hits a little bit harder than Chie, but he is not matching Dragon's Hustle, which is a party-wide heat riser. This skill might cost a fuck ton of SP even with the proper accessories, but if you pop this, you win. You just win. Not only does she have that, but she has Revolution, which raises your crit rate for the entire battlefield. And since most shadows don't use threatening physical skills, Chie and Kanji are free to fuck the game up royally with really no risk involved. Oh yeah, and she has Power Charge. So she has party-wide Heat Riser, Revolution, Power Charge, Agni Astra, God's Hand, Apt Pupil, and Bufudine from the bike riding events for coverage. What the fuck? She has insane damage, insane crit, insane support, insane everything. The one and only weakness she has is resource management because of the cost of Dragon's Hustle, but other than that, she is completely broken. Chie paired with Kanji is a borderline unbeatable lineup because of this. I honestly think you could damn near beat the entire game with those two alone, and it is so fun to run through the dungeons with them and the team, and the final missing link of that pair is what really brings it all together. What is the final missing piece, you might ask? That is a dedicated healer. And who is the best healer in the game? Or rather, who is just the absolute best character in the entire game? Yukiko Amagi. I cannot believe how unfathomably broken they decided to make Yukiko in this game, because Jesus Christ, man, she's matching the protagonist in damage and support. Let me just read off the build my Yukiko had at the end of the game. Burning Petals, or Amagidine as it's called in my game, which deals severe fire damage to all enemies, the only severe damage magic skill a party member can get, by the way, Mind Charge to double the damage of Amagidine, then Salvation to fully heal HP and ailments, Media Rahan just to heal HP fully, Samara Karm to revive an ally if they somehow die, and then, on top of having the only severe damage magic skill of the party, she has Fire Boost and Fire Amp. Like, bro, are you serious? And not only that, she has the highest amount of SP and the highest magic stat in the game. I don't even know if I gotta explain this. She has the best damage of any party member, the best support, some of the best resource management, and she works on any team. She is flawless in every single respect. So she is the first party member I've rated to obtain a 100% perfect scorecard. She is perfect in every single aspect you could ever ask for. Love her or hate her character, she's damn near a must run. Truly the priestess of the game. And once again, we come to the final character of the party. Kind of. That being my glorious king, my favorite Persona protagonist of all time, the GOAT, Yu Narukami. The pro tags of the game are self-explanatory. As good as you are at the game is how good he is. So ideally, he's the best in every single aspect you could ever imagine. With a build like I have shown on screen, I mean, yeah, Yukiko isn't exactly beating that. And then you can have like 11 more Personas or something like that on the same tier of every single affinity. No more needs to be said. Actually, you know what? Before we wrap this up, I gotta give a special shout out to Rise. She might not be a playable party member, but damn if she isn't fucking goated, dude. Healing the team if you're low, reviving Narukami if he dies, showing you where the enemies and treasure are, telling you the weaknesses, letting you instantly escape a battle, healing you after a battle, giving you encouragement during AOAs. I mean, come on, bro, she's just the GOAT. One of the best girls for that alone. Overall, the level of strength in this game is very balanced. I'd even go as far to say that it's probably more balanced across the board than even Reload was. So if someone was lower or higher than you felt they should have been, then honestly, I ain't even gonna argue it. You can use whatever team you want and make it work. So for that, I gotta give Atlus some props. I just want to know what they were smoking when they gave Yukiko all them tools, cause god damn they let her cook, literally. Other than that though, that's all I gotta say regarding this tier list video. Do you agree with me or do you disagree? Feel free to comment and let me know what you think. And if you enjoyed the video, please consider dropping a like and a subscribe. It helps my channel out a lot and I'll love you forever. I'll even give you a free virtual cookie. Bam! Here you go. It's been your boy Yandere Gogeta, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out everybody, and have a great day.